All right. Recording now. Ready to start the last section of school here after spring break. So let me put this up for us now. All right, programming class. Let's go to our grade screen. Okay, so before spring break, you should have turned in 5.03, procedural and object oriented programming. That was just a 5-question assignment. This week, we have a classes and methods assignment, and it is going to be a written program. And then actually, we're going to have an exam next week. We're not going to write a program for, last time we wrote Module 4 project was a program. This time we actually do have an exam that will wrap up Module 5 here, and then we'll be starting Module 6. So, all right, so classes and methods. We need to learn what this is so we know what program we're writing this week. So let's go to our activity screen. There we go. Classes and methods. All right. Oh, a do-it-yourself robot army. Object-oriented programming, that's what we did right before the break, is all about efficiency and control, which is also true about robot armies. Let's see. Robot army, a poem. Oh, let's start out with a poem. I'd like to make a robot army, said little Josephine McNee. Some large, some small, some yellow-green. I'd make a class so it's less work and change their arms and legs and smirks. I'll add some methods to make some fly, some dance, some sing, and others cry. These robot objects will be my friends, all made from one but different. Oh, wait, what's that? What's that you say? You say I'm programming the wrong way? My robot army says you've been led astray. So, all right, so little Josephine McNee and her robot army. At the completeness lesson, we'll be able to define a class in OOP, determine the attributes of an object, use parameters to define an object, and add methods for a class. So object-oriented programming. Let's get into how it actually functions. Defining a class. All right, you've been working in Python, which means you've been working with object-oriented programming. We just hadn't defined it that way until the week before spring break. Like most modern programming languages, Python allows you to work with objects that you create. Programs written in OOP can be larger and more complex, but they're still easy to maintain. So think about turtle objects. Each time a new turtle is named, a new instance of the turtle class is created. It's given values for its attributes, like you told it what color to be, you told it what speed to move, you gave it instructions on what to do. Those are also known as calling methods to make it move. You told it to go forward, you told it to go left or right or backwards or whatever. Objects occur everywhere, like on your cell phone. When you create a new contact, that's like creating an instance of a contact class, right? The class, you've made a new instance of that. Think of a class like a blueprint for an object. It provides a template to create new objects and what they do. So that template for your new contact, when you create a new contact, that's a class in programming. It's a new class. And you're creating a new instance every time you create a new one. So because classes often represent real-life objects like a contact in your phone, class names are usually nouns. So when we're naming our class, like contact, whatever, it's also best practice to capitalize the first letter of each word, like contact or phone contact in your class name. So let's look how you might create a contact using Python. So this will be important for our assignment this week. Oh, get it right there. There we go. So first you would define your class right here. Class, and the class is going to be named contact with a colon at the end. And then underneath our class that we create, we're going to initialize with this INIT with a little underscore in front of it and behind it. Define, initialize, and we're saying self this time. And that could be whatever name you want to use in there, but we're saying self. Again, there's a colon at the end. So let's add to that. Now let's set the parameters. So class contact, define initialize self. So we're saying self.name and self.phone. So we're creating a contact, and in our contact, we're initializing that we would have a name. We're starting with it blank. We're having a phone number, starting with a blank. Okay, so we've set up the contact right there. Now we're going to create an instance of it. We're actually going to fill one in. So look, define main. Now our program has started. We created the contact before we started our main program. And we're going to say new contact, and it equals contact. Now this is calling the class we created. It said go up to that class and create a new one. So it'll create a name and phone place. All right. And then retrieve the object values. So we created up here the class. We said initialize, give it a space for a name and a space for a phone number. Started our program. We said, all right, let's create a new contact. So it went up and created a new contact with a space for the name and phone number. Print name, that's in parentheses. So it's going to print exactly that. And then it's going to print whatever the new contact.name is. And then we're going to put a space between it and the new contact.phone. Now we didn't actually, right now it's blank. So it's going to print blank things. We haven't anything in there. But we're going to use the dot notation. It says to retrieve the values, write the name of the object followed by a period or dot. That's what that new contact dot phone. And then either an attribute or a method. So they did dot with a name first and then dot with the phone second. All right, let's move on. We'll see a better example coming up. That's just our thing. Improving the initializer. So when you create a new object, it needs to initialize or start with some kind of initial values. Like on the previous page, we started with blank values. All right, create a place for a name, but it starts initially, it's just nothing. It's just blank. But we have to even tell it that, right? So you can improve this by adding different parameters. Because previously, it set the name and phone number to a contact of blank strings, right? It was empty. What if we could set the name and phone number when we create the object? We can. We can add parameters to the initializing values method here. All right, class contact, hashtag, it's just a comment for us reading it. Create a new contact with a name and phone number. In our class, our initial, look, we can do self, comma, name is blank and phone is blank. We can do it right there in our initializing. We didn't have to do it in a separate line. So now in this line, values for the name and phone attributes can be passed. If they're provided, they'll be assigned when the object's initialized. Define main. New contact equals contact. Now we can put it right in here. Since we initialized it to say self, name, and phone number right there in the parameters. Now when we create a new contact, we can say go to this contact class right here. And I want the name to be Monty and the phone number 123-555-9876. Apparently he lives in Hollywood. He's got a 555 number. So we created a contact and gave it the values right there in the same line. Then when we print that, name, colon, space, all that will print. And then it'll print Monty. Because we said new contact dot name. Well, we told it name is the first thing in the parentheses and phone is second. And then it did the same thing with the phone. Print the phone, new contact dot phone, so it'll print Monty's phone number. All right, gives us some Python practice right here. All right, so here is, looks to be what we had above, except for this just has the self. It doesn't have the parameters in. So this is the first example we saw. Self.name, self.phone, we created down here. Define main, new contact equals contact. So when we run, let's see when we run. So nothing happens because nowhere did we have a print statement. We never told it to display anything. But there's a lot going on. So a contact class was created right up there. Class contact. The initializer method is key. It assigned the values of name and phone. So we said self.name, self.phone. So the self parameter refers to the new object. In the main function, the statement new contact equals contact. That creates a new object in that contact class. And the new object's name is new contact. All right, we haven't given the contact a name yet. Let's go hit next. All right, nothing's changed up here. We still created our class. But now down here in our main function, we create that new instance, that new contact. We print what it is first. What's the initial value when we very first created it? So the initial value is the name. Print whatever is the name. Then it says we're going to give the contact a name. Now we're going to go to new contact, which we just created right here. And we're going to say the dot name, the name field should become exactly what's inside the quotes here. Exactly that, Monty. And then we're going to print the updated value. So this is just so we can watch what happens before this line and after this line. So let's run that. Initial value of name. Look, there's nothing there. It's blank. It's empty because that's what we set it to when it's first created. When it's first created, we said, I want it to be empty. So when we first created it right there, it was empty. Then we went in and we adjusted the name field, new contact.name, to be this name, Monty. Updated value of name, Monty. Monty Python. There you go. So we can ask Python to print or update the attributes of the new contact object. Now it says to modify the name, use an assignment statement, new contact name equals Monty. Now it wants us to try to assign Monty a phone number. Okay, so let's write some more code here. And that's what these in the assignments, when you see these things, you can go in and change these programs. This is where you can practice with it. This is where you can play with it and see how to do things. So let's give Monty a phone number. So hashtag give Monty a phone number. All right. So now the way they gave him a name is they said new contact.name. Well, if we go up here and look, .phone is the other field. So we can go here and say new contact.phone equals, and we're going to put this in there. We'll say 479-8675309. There we go. Oh, I guess we want to put another dash in there so it looks right. And close our quotes. And then let's print contacts phone number space quote, because I want it to print exactly that. And now print the new contact dot phone that we just updated. Okay, so our code looks just like this code, except for we're not changing the name. We're changing the phone number. So let's see if we did that correctly. Run program. Oh, looky there. Initial value of the name was nothing. And really the initial value of the phone, let's add that up there. Print initial value of phone. Let's put what the phone was originally. New contact. All right. So the phone was originally empty. Then we updated the value, Monty, and the contact's phone number, Monty's phone number. There it is, 479-8675309. So yeah, go ahead and you can play with these programs anytime they have these. If you want to see how does that work, or what if I wanted to do this, This is a great place to do that because you can always reset it. If we mess something up there and it's like, I don't even know how to fix it, I can just go to previous and then go to next. And now I'm back to where it was. Oh, it's still got my changes in there though. Oh, all right. I didn't know it would keep those. We have another one example over here though. We'll go to number 3. Oh, we can always reload the page. It would lose that. You can reload the page and it'll clear that out. All right, let's look at this. Read over the code, predict the output. We've created a contact. Now we've done it a little differently. Name equals blank, phone equals blank. Up here in the initializing statement, when we set the parameters, create a new contact with name and phone. Now we said self.name equals name. This is not in quotes. It's referring to some value of name and phone. So let's see what we did here. New contact equals contact. And look, since it's in the parameters up here, we put the name and the phone number right here inside the new contact creation line here. Contact, parentheses, put the name and phone number in there. So now we know self.name equals name, self.phone equals phone. We give it those parameters, name and phone right there. Print my contacts, names, phones. All right, let's run it. So I think it's going to, looks like it'll set a name, it'll set a phone for these parameters that we give it. So when we created it, it should have stuck that as the name, and that is the phone. The new contact name, new contact phone. Run program. There it is. It printed my contacts because that's in quotes. It printed name period space right there because that's in quotes. And then it printed whatever the value of the name was in new contact, which is Monty, which is the phone number there. So what if we didn't have these things? I just want to know, if we didn't have those 2 lines, does it still work if we just set it up there? I actually don't know. I haven't tried this. Run program. There you go. We got a bad input on line 9 when it started this because it didn't have those lines. So even though we put this in the initializing part up there, we need to define it. So self.name would be the name and the self.phone would be the phone. So we figured out right away, take those 2 lines out, it no longer works. Put them back, now it works again. So these are needed. So remember that when you're writing your program. Create your class. Even if you put your initializing statements here in the parameters in the initializing statement, you need these lines also to go with name, phone. Because it doesn't know what to do with name equals this unless we tell it that is part of our class. Self.name would be the name they enter. Self.phone would be the phone that we entered up here. So it has to know what to do with these values. All right, let's look at their last example. Okay, so read over the code, predict the output. Looks like the same thing we just had. The initializing parameters are name and phone number. They're empty. We told it what to do with name and phone. That's part of this new contact class. So now we have new contact equals contact Monty, which we added in the last one. But now we have new contact 2. So we got Dan in here with Monty. And we have Dan's number. He also lives in Hollywood. Then we're going to print my contacts. And we're given a heading, name, and a bunch of spaces and phone. We're going to print new contact name, new contact 2 name with spaces in between them and their phone numbers. Oh, and then after we print that, look here, update Dan's phone number. Dan's phone number was wrong. He was not at 321. He was at 543. And now his number is very similar to Monty's. Monty had 555-9876. just a different area code. So we can update a contact right there. And then we'll print again my updated contacts, name, phone, and print the new phone numbers. So let's run this. Here's my contacts, name, phone. That's just with that space in between, like we told it to print. Space in between there. Monty, there's Monty's number. Dan, there's Dan's number. Then we updated it to say, wait, nope, Dan's number is actually this. Okay, so we've got a pretty good feel for what's going on. And again, go in here and play with it. If you want to create a new contact 3 to make sure you know how to do that, absolutely worth trying. All right, let's see what the last page is. Usually this is on the last page, so we may have some more. We have more on the last page. Good. Oh, yeah, methods, because this is classes and methods. We were just talking about how to create a class. Now we need to look at creating a method. So adding a method can make your object smarter and give it more functionality. So let's keep working with the same contact object, new contact that we were just doing. But we want to create something that'll store Monty's information, including a ringtone that'll play when he calls. So within the definition of the class, we're going to add a method called play ringtone. There it is. And the parameter self allows us to access the object's attributes. So we would have another, look, define play ringtone self. So this is a different function. We have our main function because we define main for our main function. So we're creating a new function here, and it's called play ringtone. So hashtag play ringtone assigned to the contact. If self.ringtone. So self is that class we created, right? And if the value is hello, print hello, it's me. Otherwise, just the normal ring ring. All right, so to make a contact object play ringtone, the method is called for that specific object, new contact.play ringtone. So we add that in there, and it will go to this new function we defined and check that. Hey, before it rings, let's check. Does this one equal hello for this contact? So it'll check to know whether it should be playing hello, it's me, or play just the normal ring ring. So let's take a look at using this method in our program. Okay, so now we've changed our class, our contact class here, and we've added a new parameter. In our initializing statement, self, we have our name, our phone number, and now a ringtone field, which is blank, and we can leave it blank if we want it to be the normal ringtone. And we have to define all those. Self.name is the name, self.phone is the phone, self.ringtone is the ringtone. And those are all set to be empty values in the class. All right, and there's that function of play ringtone. Let's define that. Define play ringtone self. Play ringtone assigned to our contact. So if the value of the contact's self.ringtone is hello, we'll have hello, it's me. If it's shake it off, print cause the player's going to play. If set to single ladies, then because if you liked it, you should have put a ring on it. Otherwise, if none of those special ringtones are assigned to the contact, just do the normal ring. All right, so we're using ifs and else ifs, elif statements, right? We're finally an else at the bottom. So we're checking all those things. If this, else if it's this, else if it's this, or assign this if none of these are true. So we've defined that function using this class up here with the self. So you use the self class and check ringtone. All right, here's our main function down here. Notice these are indented. It's indented under the class. So because it's using this function is using this class up here. So it's indented as part of it. So that's an error you're having trying to add a method Make sure the method is underneath the class with the amount that you indented. All right, our main function, new contact, and then we're setting the parameters. This one's going to assign Monty to name, this phone number to phone, and hello to the ringtone. And then we'll print those out just to verify that's it. Name, phone, ringtone. What's those values? Should be those 3 values. And then new contact dot play ringtone. We called this method right here. Play Monty's ringtone. Hashtag. So that's what this does. Is it goes up here and prints whatever his ringtone is, because he's calling now. Whatever. Run program. Monty 123559876. Hello, and then there's what his ringtone is. Hello, it's me. Maybe it should be hello. Is it me you're looking for? Since we did songs with the other ones, but all right, let's look at the next example. Self, name, phone, ringtone. Nothing's new there. This looks to be all the same in our class. Let's look at this. Play ringtone assigned to contact. We've got the hello, shake it off, single ladies, else ring. So nothing changed in this method that's in the class. Let's see what's in our main function. Here's the same contact. Same thing here. We're printing those contacts informations. Okay, so we did this last time. We played Monty's ringtone. Now we're going to change it. We say, well, it was this. Now we're going to change it to equal. That means we're assigning a new value to that new contact's ringtone. His ringtone is going to be shake it off now. So we'll print a blank line and then print his information again. Name, phone, new ringtone. And now play the ringtone again. So let's run the program. Monty with his phone number. That's his ringtone that's assigned. And there's what it sounds like. Hello, it's me. Then we changed something, so we printed it again. Name, phone number. Oh, there's his new ringtone that's been assigned to his contact. So now when he calls, it plays the new ringtone. Instead of hello, it's me. All right. The ringtone changed because we assigned a new one right there with that equal sign. They get assigned this new value. Last example. Now we've added something else. Look at this. Define the initial parameters. Name, phone number, ringtone, dues owed. Well, you must be like the treasurer of the club, and you're keeping track of how many, what people have paid in their dues. So we set the dues owed to 0 initially. We're just going to assume everything, you've paid all your dues. Again, we set these values up. Self.dues owed would be the dues owed parameter that we've added right there. All right, now we've got a new method. Define pay dues self.money. So compute the dues. So this is a calculation. So self dues owed, which we defined right up here, will equal whatever the dues owed minus money. So when they make a payment, we're going to take their payment and assign it to the value money, and we'll subtract that from what they owed. All right, let's look at our main function. This new contact, Monty, with this phone number, this ringtone, he owes $12.50. That's his starting dues that he owes, $12.50. So we're going to print his name and phone number, and we're going to print how much he owes, dues owed. And he makes a payment of $10. New contact, pay dues, goes up to pay dues, self and money, payment. So self tells it to use that class, use that contact. Money tells it how much it paid. Well, what is payment? Payment equals 10. So money's going to be 10 this time. When we run that method up there, payment has the value of 10. So we'll go up here and assign 10 to money. It will go to self dues owed and subtract from self dues owed the $10. Since he owed $12.50, we expect he'll owe $2.50 now. So we ran that through the pay dues, and now we're going to print what he owes now. And that's the end of the program. So, all right, run program. Monty, phone, dues owed, $12.5, $12.5. Dues owed now, $2.5. So it processed his $10 payment. What if he made a $15 payment? See, now he's overpaid, negative $2.5. So you can go ahead and change these things if you want. He paid $1. He owes $11.50 now. Just doing a simple calculation with whatever we assign to payment, because we're running that through this method, the pays due method. All right, that was the last example. So the last page says, follow the assignment template. Oh, I need to look. I'm not sure I've put the template in. Did I put a template in? I have not put the template in. I will go do that as soon as class ends. But let's take a look at it. Let's look at the assignment. All right, 3 parts. You're going to write a program to define a superhero class. All right, you're going to set the attributes and you're going to call the methods. So here's the guidelines. First, look over this code. You can use this code as a starting point. Here's the start of your program, other than your name, date, purpose of program. You need to come up with 2 additional attributes. What attributes does it start with? It starts with name. It starts with strength points. You have to have 2 more. And you need 1 more method. What method did it have? Well, other than the initial parameters, it has add strength points. That's the method. It has a way to add and your hero to get stronger. So the strength points that were set up as one of the initial attributes has a method to allow it to add points. Your superhero eats his spinach, or whatever he does. So you have to add 1 more method. So that's probably going to depend on what attributes you add. You're going to add 2 more attributes and then some other method. So update the class by including at least 2 new methods and 1 new method. So right now the class just has these 2 items with 2 attributes. So you need to update this class superhero to add more. Then in the main method, create your superhero. When you define your main function, create your superhero and be sure to assign values to all of its attributes, its name, its strength points, its whatever else you're adding. And then call its methods. Have something add strength points to it. And call this method. And then have it do whatever other method you're adding. So create output that describes your superhero in a story fashion or a series of events. So you're going to write a little adventure. Your superhero, whatever his name is. Math Man encountered a difficult quadratic villain. He defeats the villain and gains 15 math points to his strength. So now his strength used to be this. Now we've added 15 strength points because he defeated the evil quadratic villain. And then whatever else you need to add, because whatever attribute you're adding. Right. His number sense also increased by 5. So write the pseudocode. Be sure if any calculations, input, all of that. So you put your pseudocode in, which I say, I'll put the template out there. Python idle. You can copy and paste this into that. Don't forget your name, date, description of your program. Use indentation properly. This is all every program, right? We see this every program, except for getting to copy this into your program. All right, expected output. Oh, like here's some ones. Let me tell you about my superhero. Her name is Captain Python, and her superpower is exterminating logic bugs. When facing the villain's sinister syntax, she shouts out her motto, "Batteries included," then rushes to save the world. The villain is defeated when he falls into an infinite loop. So this heroic action earns her 100 strength points. Captain Python now has 121 points and has saved the day. There you go. And you'll put your code, answer the questions. All right, guys, that's your program. Give me a few minutes. I will have a template loaded for you. So you can start playing around in Python, writing in it stuff, but template's not there yet. I will have that there in a few minutes. That's it for the week. If you need help, this is not a B day. I don't think I changed that. Let me double check that. I think it's an A day. I better look at the calendar just to make sure. This is an A day. A day. Let me correct that. All right, a day Friday. So I will be here Wednesday. I will be here Friday. If your grade's below 70%, then I will see you Wednesday and Friday. Otherwise, if you're having trouble with this program, come on in Wednesday. Come on in Friday. Let's get it fixed. Get all your errors fixed, and have you ready to go. So, all right, guys. Have a great first week back from break. Get this done. We'll see you later.